Thank you, General Clark. General Clark, when President Grant created the Justice Department in 1870, their first mission was to secure the civil rights promised by the Reconstruction era amendments. And the first actions included the prosecution of Ku Klux Klan members who terrorized black Americans. That scourge of white supremacist terror persists to this day in our country. Our law enforcement intelligence agencies have repeatedly warned that violent white supremacists pose the most lethal domestic terror threat. The threat is growing. Last year, FBI Director Wray told our committee that during his tenure at the FBI, the number of investigations and arrests of white supremacists has grown significantly. So I need to ask you two questions. We want more and better reporting of the incidents of hate in America. There are more than 70 cities in our country with populations over 100,000 who either did not report any hate crimes to the FBI or affirmatively reported they had no hate crimes during the reporting period recently. Even more troubling, 2020 was the third year in a row with a decline in law enforcement agencies submitting hate crime data to the FBI. We know the FBI data is deeply flawed because the Justice Department's Bureau of Statistics has reported that there are on average 250,000 hate crimes annually in the United States. Last year, as you mentioned, we passed the Jabara Hire No Hate Act, designed to provide more resources to law enforcement to improve data collection and reporting. So two questions. Is it getting better? Can we expect any results to show that we paid attention to the new law and we have better reporting from state and local law enforcement? And secondly, what actions are being taken against white supremacist groups?
Thank you for that question, Chair Durbin. Working to ensure that our local and state law enforcement agencies are doing a better job capturing data is one of our top priorities at the Justice Department. We are working to provide guidance and working to shine a light on this issue. We know that accurate data is critical to ensuring that we are deploying resources to the right places, critical to identifying hotspots, critical to preventing violent hate crimes from happening. So this is one of our top priorities. In terms of our current present-day efforts to counter white supremacy, this is also a top priority for us in the Civil Rights Division. You noted the history that led to the founding of the Justice Department, and Attorney General Merrick Garland speaks to that history often. And sadly, too many of the events that we see unfolding in our communities across the country today remind us that while we have made progress, racially motivated hate remains a stark problem in our nation today. The Justice Department's recent conviction secured against the three men who killed Ahmaud Arbery stands as a powerful reminder of that. Another powerful example of this concerns a defendant who was recently sentenced to life without the possibility of parole for a murder. He targeted two blacks and an attempted murder on a third African American at a Kroger store in Kentucky. He followed the black man who was shopping with his grandson, shot him in the back of the head, then shot him several times in the torso, then shot a black woman in the parking lot and attempted to attack a third. Sadly, at every turn, we know that racially motivated hate violence is alive and well, and the Civil Rights Division is committed to using the tools that Congress gave us to stand up to the threat.
There's an inscription on a building downtown, not far from here, that says, "Those who don't learn history are condemned to repeat it." How would you characterize our responsibility to tell America in general and the newest Americans exactly what the honest, complete history of race relations has been in the United States?
Critically important, Chair Durbin. America's history is one where we've seen great progress, and we continue to work to make real the promises underlying the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. But sadly, we know that racial discrimination, racial harassment, racially motivated violence continue to be problems that threaten the safety of people living in their communities. threaten our children who are learning in school environments, pose threats to workers in the workplace. So it's important that we understand our history and that we continue to focus today on these long-standing problems that have loomed heavy throughout our nation's history.
Thank you, General Clark. Senator Grassley.